escaped. The Navy getting closer to El Mencho. The Navy is moving heaven and earth to stop the CJNG and capture its top leader, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, better known as El Mencho. In recent weeks, clashes between the national security forces, including the Federal Army, National Guard, Navy, military police, and various law enforcement agencies in Mexican territory have joined forces to halt the operations of organized crime in the nation and thwart the advance of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel, which sought to penetrate Sinaloa in recent days. Fortunately, national forces managed to thwart this attempt by the cartel's forces, destroying the Narco caravan, neutralizing cartel-affiliated Hitmen, and recovering vital information for future confrontations. In another significant blow by the authorities and a courageous joint effort, they succeeded in detaining the main plaza boss in Jalisco belonging to the CJNG, who had jurisdiction over an area of great importance to the cartel. Indeed, the efforts of these brave heroes in the security forces are yielding results to the point of perhaps making Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes himself sweet, who until now had been nothing more than a ghost on the authorities' radar. However, in a significant turn of events, the Navy managed to locate the alleged whereabouts of the top leader of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Stay tuned, because today I will tell you about the incredible operation carried out by the Navy in Jalisco to apprehend the feared cartel's top leader, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, alias El Mencho. Before we begin, I invite you to subscribe to the channel if you're new. Support us with your powerful like and activate the notification bell. That helps us a lot. Now, let's get started. In an unprecedented military action to combat organized crime, the Mexican Navy conducts a significant operation in Jalisco to capture Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, alias El Mencho, the leader of the brutal Jalisco New Generation Cartel or CJNG. Unfortunately, despite meticulous planning and the massive presence of security agents, the leader of the CJNG managed to evade capture once again, bringing with his escape an inevitable wave of concern in the fight against drug trafficking in Mexico. This operation, carried out by the Mexican Navy, which deployed more than 50 units for its execution, was made possible through collaboration with other security agencies in the nation. The past successes of Mexican law enforcement gathered valuable intelligence indicating the alleged location of Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes in the area, triggering a rapid and frenetic response from the authorities. They deployed a quick contingent to establish a perimeter around the CJNG leader to prevent his escape. However, despite the swift response and implemented strategy, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes managed to escape again, highlighting not only the danger, but also the complexity of operations against cartels in Mexico. Oseguera Cervantes alias El Mencho, known for his cunning and the intricate web of loyalties he has woven around him, has been a high-profile target for authorities. Despite being close to capturing him on several occasions, his ability to elude law enforcement only underscores the challenging and sometimes frustrating nature of the fight against organized crime in the country. The alleged escape of El Mencho also emphasizes the need to reinforce intelligence networks and coordination by security forces of the Aztec nation. Could it be possible that they became overconfident due to the recent victories against the cartel? Oseguera Cervantes is a ghost that, once you see him, it will be a long time before you have a similar opportunity, if ever. In a struggle where cartels are constantly adapting their tactics, the ability to predict and anticipate movements by criminal organizations becomes crucial and determinative for the success of operations. It is worth noting that the operations by nation security forces not only focus on capturing criminal leaders, but also on destroying their entire financial and logistical structure to prevent fragmentations and the emergence of new cartels. However, not everything was regrettable. Although Oseguera Cervantes' escape represents a tough blow to the security agencies' efforts, it is also true that significant information about the cartel's movements was recovered. This information may possibly favor future operations to weaken and destroy the cartel, not only in the region, but ultimately eradicated from the country. On the other hand, in recent days the Secretariat of National Defense and the Navy have hunted down several members of Mexico's most powerful criminal organizations, the Sinaloa Cartel and the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. Among them is Audias Flores Silva, alias the Gardener, the only one who managed to escape in the recent operations carried out. The alleged 40-year-old criminal is one of the closest to the leader of the four-letter cartel, according to the DEA, which represents a priority target considering the limited number of cartel members who are trusted by Oseguera Cervantes. You see, in an operation carried out jointly by elements of the National Guard and the Navy, aimed at capturing high-profile targets for the Sinaloa Cartel and the Jalisco New Generation Cartel in Culiacan, the capture of alias El Nini, chief of security for Los Chapitos, was achieved. However, alias the Gardener was not located in that area by the authorities. Instead, the capture of alias El Mini Toy, an alleged financial operator for the CJNG, was successful. In all of this, you might be wondering, who is the Gardener? Why is he so important? Flores Silva, alias the Gardener, is presumed to be the successor of Oseguera Cervantes. Furthermore, reports from the Navy indicate that Flores Silva was sought due to his involvement as one of those responsible for the attack against Sedena elements in Teocaltiche, which resulted in the death of 3 soldiers. If you want to know more about this attack on military personnel, let me remind you that we have that video on our channel. Continuing with the topic, Flores Silva is closely aligned with the leader of the CJNG, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes, alias El Mencho, who is believed to be the successor to Oseguera Cervantes in case of his demise. This is the reason why the DEA offers a reward of $5 million for information related to his capture and/or conviction. In addition to being identified as the Gardener, he is recognized under the aliases El Comandante, El Brado II, El Audi, and Matajefes. The DEA points out that the Gardener, apart from controlling methamphetamine laboratories, oversees the operations of various plants and clandestine airstrips for illicit use. He also controls tractor-trailers to transport cocaine from Central America to Mexico, as well as passenger vehicles to transfer various illicit narcotics from Mexico to CJNG distribution cells in the US, located in California, Texas, Illinois, Georgia, Washington, and Virginia. In Mexico, he is identified as the leader of the CJNG in Nayarit. It is necessary to highlight the effort made by Mexican security forces and how their collaborative efforts have allowed them to confront various movements of the cartel, a cartel that was presumed invincible and untouchable, but is beginning to face reality thanks to the constant efforts of the Mexican Navy, National Guard, Federal Army, and various police forces that have made it possible to halt the advance of the CJNG across the nation. Their efforts have once again put El Mencho in check, although, unfortunately, Oseguera Cervantes managed to elude law enforcement once again. The information network managed by El Mencho, as well as the public figures on his payroll, gave him a certain advantage in anticipating operations to capture him. Certainly, Oseguera Cervantes knows how to use his resources, and corruption plays a significant role in carrying out these operations. After all, how did he manage to escape? Did someone tip him off? How deep are the claws of the Jalisco New Generation Cartel in the components of law and government? It is unthinkable that someone deemed it appropriate to support the criminal leader of one of the most violent and bloodthirsty cartels in Mexican history. A cartel that has brought a bitter end to the stories of hundreds of thousands of Mexicans. A cartel that has become a cancer, eating away not only at the Aztec nation, but spreading its metastases to the United States and jeopardizing the stability of all North and Central America. Even now, the cartel is prepared for the eventual death or capture of its maximum leader, as they already have a possible successor who would take the reins of the CJNG if necessary. Flores Silva is another heavyweight in the cartel's structure to consider. Seeking to leave the CJNG without a successor is also a long-term tactic to deprive the cartel of a leader. As we have mentioned in previous videos, Oseguera Cervantes' health forces him to carefully consider who will continue his legacy of death and blood when he finally succumbs to the disease, is defeated or captured. This seems like a clear countdown for El Mencho. Time is running out. Would this force him to make a mistake, or, on the contrary, will it make him even more elusive? That's all for today. As always, grateful that you have joined us until the end. Remember to subscribe to our channel if you are new, leave your powerful like and comment. It helps us a lot to keep growing and bring you the best investigative and up-to-the-minute content. Now, with nothing more to say, until the next video.